Well folks, today we're talking Battlefield 6, and you're going to be seeing a lot more content Battlefield related on the channel in the lead up to the reveal in June, and just generally speaking. For those of you who have joined us in Warzone, I am actually a Battlefield channel, technically speaking, and an EA game changer for Battlefield as well, which fingers crossed means some exclusive content on the next game. Now today I want to talk about the reveal itself, what I think we're probably going to see, and also I'm going to talk about the alleged leaks that have sprung up online and what that looks like and what the situation with those leaks are. Now I won't actually be showing any of the leaked content on screen because, to be honest with you, most of it looks like crap, but I'm sure most of you guys have seen what I'm talking about. It's really exciting to get back into Battlefield. Myself, Westy, Jack, Stod, Broken Machine, I know most of the UK guys are really excited to have Battlefield 6 come again. And it's really exciting that we've got the reveal around the corner. Now for the reveal itself, this could go either one of two ways, and this is a theory and a feeling from what we've seen over the past couple of years with Battlefield, and something I think will be true if I'm being honest. There are two ways the reveal could go, and I honestly feel like the first one is how it's probably going to pan out, and that this reveal is actually going to be quite extensive, like an actual reveal event with, you know, maybe developers talking and talking about multiplayer and showing us some gameplay. And my reason for that, and my theory for that generally speaking, is that they've actually scheduled a separate reveal event for Battlefield instead of just doing it at EA Play. Now, if you're somebody who's into EA Play, or if you've watched the show before, it normally happens in June. This year EA Play is happening in July. I presume that's probably because of the pandemic and they don't really need to rush to make a show this year. But I also think they've deliberately given a slot and space to Battlefield 6 for them to announce the game and let the game really shine. Now, if you've seen other reveal events for some games, some of them just drop a quick trailer and leave, but other ones are very extensive and explain a lot about what's going on. Modern Warfare 2019, for example, had a pretty extensive reveal event, and I actually really enjoyed that because you learned so much about the game. And I think the same is going to happen for Battlefield 6 here. I don't think we're going to get everything. I don't think they're going to show us everything. Of course, with EA Play a month away, they're going to want to have something for EA Play, but I think we're going to get a really good picture as to what Battlefield 6 looks like, what it will accomplish on next-gen platforms, how many players, the general details people are excited about. And of course, no big reveal is any good without a really good reveal trailer, and the team at DICE, and the media team in particular, are incredibly talented. Battlefield 1 is still one of the most liked trailers of all time, and most of the people who made that trailer are also making this trailer. And I'm sure they learned some valuable feedback from how Battlefield 5 was revealed as well. Generally, I think even EA, which is a very large bureaucracy of cogs and wheels and huge numbers of people that make the company work, even they must recognize at this point that Battlefield 6 is in pole position. It's in pole position to be one of the first next-generation shooters that offers a truly next-generational experience with larger player counts, increased graphical fidelity, possibly 120 Hz. And they also probably recognize at the same time that a lot of their competitors in the space right now are kind of in a bad place. You know, Call of Duty will always sell well. It will always sell well. It could release the worst game in the world, Advanced Warfare, and they'll still sell well. And Black Ops Cold War, although they're trying really hard with that game, didn't do very well in terms of what they were expecting and in terms of how well Modern Warfare 2019 performed. And if the next game is allegedly this weird World War II 1960s combo, I'm sure many Call of Duty fans will be looking to jump ship. Likewise, other than Hell Let Loose, there really are no other shooters releasing on next gen this year in terms of a multiplayer experience that Battlefield can offer, and it gives them a really unique opportunity to have a game that just absolutely makes a huge splash. Now let's talk about these alleged leaks. These alleged leaks have been cropping up on the internet from people like Tom Henderson and people who post these alleged leaks on Discord and Reddit and whatever it so happens to be. Now, it probably is somewhat accurate, but it isn't really something you should pay attention to. The reason for that is very simple. Now, they've released all of these random screenshots from this alleged trailer, and they've released, you know, really blurry, like 240p photos of what it is, and EA hasn't budged. And they haven't budged because, quite frankly, they probably don't care that it's in the wild, in the sense that it's something that isn't that important, or it's a trailer or a piece of information or a video that actually doesn't really fit into the category of being important in the grand scheme of things. Now, I'm not saying that what they have isn't real. What I'm saying is that it's not important, it's not relevant, and it's not a sort of valid piece of information, in the sense that if EA genuinely felt that critical information was out in the wild, they would have pushed that move date for the reveal all the way up like 3 weeks and just dropped the trailer right away. They did the same thing with Battlefront 2. They had a huge reveal plan, the trailer got leaked early, they just dropped the trailer straight away, like same day. It took, less than 12 hours for the cogs at EA to go, holy crap, we need to get that thing out in the wild. So whatever information that these alleged leakers have probably is real in terms of the sense of the fact that the setting is probably correct. It most likely will be a modern shooter. I'm sure there is a map that resembles some sort of rocket launch platform, but the information that they probably have is either very, 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 very old, bearing in mind that this game's been in development for many years now, or is information that EA genuinely don't really care about. And to me, that reads that it's information that was revealed internally to EA, and not something that they intended for the public to see. So the trailer that I reckon that they have, or some of the video footage that I reckon they have, is probably the kind of trailer that they show internally. They wanted to show, I don't know, investors internally, or they wanted to show the heads of the company internally, what they were working on, and that's probably why it's a relatively short trailer as well. So again, I'm sure there are some details in there that are accurate. The modern setting, for example, probably is accurate, but it's information that EA probably doesn't really care about, and if they did, you would have already seen the reveal trailer by now. Now, as with all leakers, most of them kind of rely their presence on the internet around leaking. Like, if the leaks aren't real or aren't accurate, then their presence on the internet is kind of null, I guess is the best way to describe it. And many of them are kind of, I don't know, pushing this really hardcore agenda that they have to show the trailer because we have the trailer and we're going to leak the trailer if you don't show the trailer. And they're basically just trying to get like recognition, but it's not really working for them. And it's not really working because, again, EA probably don't really care that they have a sort of random internal trailer that's in like 240p that probably got streamed across a Zoom call. Now, the problem with these leakers is they tend to set false expectations, and the bigger thing for me is a combination of a few things. For starters, well, yeah, they set false expectations. They probably have information that could either be outdated or information that's just downright not correct. If they say, oh, it's 128 players and Battlefield go and announce 100 instead of 128, they'll be like, oh, well, we thought it was 128. And it builds this sort of false pretense and narrative around communities of what they should expect. For Battlefield 6, you shouldn't be expecting anything at the moment, because literally no official information has been revealed about the game, and only official information will really give you an idea of what's going on. But there are two sort of bigger issues as well. I think the first one is like, they sort of feel like they control the narrative over Battlefield, and they're like, yeah, you gotta do this now and reveal the trailer. And the thing about these leakers, right, is that, yeah, they'll say that it's a modern setting, right? And maybe the other 4 bullet points that they tweeted are completely incorrect. But because the game is a modern setting, they'll be like, yeah, I was right. I said Battlefield would have more than 64 players, so I was right. And that's kind of how they work. Just because, it's like throwing literally I could have said to you 6 months ago that the next Battlefield game would have been, I don't know, 150 players, modern setting, next-gen shooter, has crossplay. These are just inherent things that are obvious to most people because that's the way the industry is going. But if these leakers, for example, get hold of a tiny snippet of information from like 18 months ago in development, they kind of perceive that information to be 100% accurate, and they can't be wrong because they're the leaker and they're definitely right. So ultimately, it's just this really weird cocktail of things that don't really work. It's probably old, outdated, or just flat out incorrect information. And it builds a false narrative of what Battlefield 6 is. EA hasn't said anything. They haven't said anything about the game, and if you're generally excited for the game, that's great. I understand there's a need for people to be like, I really want to see something. But taking your time with the game is also a great strategy because it means that you can reveal it in the right kind of way. You can give the developers a bit more time to get certain things done. Like, I don't know, maybe the media team wanted to change a scene and they needed an extra couple of weeks. So there's really no rush for anything. I understand that a lot of console gamers in particular literally have like nothing to play right now, except for probably like Warzone, so it can be a little bit difficult and a little bit tricky. But ultimately I think good things come in time, and I think Battlefield 6 will be one of those things. So that's my thoughts on the leaking situation. It's why most of us really, including sort of larger YouTubers, haven't really covered it, because we see some of these internal trailers sometimes. Now, for Battlefield 6, there actually hasn't been anything in terms of the EA game changes. Like, we haven't seen anything, we haven't been shown anything, or at least to the best of my knowledge of people I know, we haven't. And sometimes, you know, for Battlefield 5 and for Battlefield 1, they would show us something. Like, you know, we would maybe go to an event a few months before the launch or a few months before the reveal, and they'd show us an internal trailer that the public wouldn't see. And that's kind of what I think's happened here, but for sort of heads of companies and investors really long ago. Although Battlefield is a huge title, it's no different from most development titles in the sense that there is, you know, a vertical slice, which is like, if you were to cut a slice out of the video game, what would that slice look like? You know, what is Battlefield 6? It's kind of it's a video game development terminology that's a sort of way of saying, this is our concept. And then, you know, you've got concept, you've got vertical slice, you've got sprints of development, you've got feature readiness, alpha, beta, you know, it's a very long set of development, and of course some of this information can get out, but I don't think any of it's really 100% accurate. So folks, that's it from me today, the Tactical Brit. As always, thank you for watching, leave a like, leave a sub, and I'll catch you again in the next one.